Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
RoadToRuta.com. Got a quick one this morning. Got an interview with X22, Dave over at X22 this morning. Always fun to chat with him. He's got great insight into what's going on behind the scenes, and everything is about behind the scenes these days. They slammed silver today for who knows why, right? We know they can click a mouse and put silver at minus $40 like they did with oil. Once you get that understanding in your head, who cares where the price of silver goes until the COMEX shuts down? The COMEX is the number one rigging agent, platform, whatever in the world when it comes to your silver investment. So nothing else really matters. Why do I say this? Because, half a billion ounces of electronic silver blips trade every single day on the COMEX. And these trades are back and forth with each other. That's what you got to get your head around. There's less than 8, probably 4 or 5 left, maybe down to 3 big ones that are trading back and forth with each other. Like HSBC will trade with JP Morgan, will trade with BofA. Those are the 3 big ones right now. There's a couple on the side. BlackRock's in there, a couple other of the big hedge fund type companies. And it's all coordinated through Vinny Viola of Virtu Financial, behind the scenes with electronic trading, high-frequency trading programs written in the 1970s by Alan Greenspan. You've heard this story before if you've been on the road to Ruta. If you haven't heard this story before, go to roadtoruta.com. Plenty of information there. Thousands of pages of documentation on what's really going on in the world of silver behind the scenes. And gold, by the way. People think I hate gold because I say there's probably 2 million tons of gold in the world and not 200,000 tons like Jeff Christian tells you. I don't hate gold at all. I don't hate gold at all. What I try to do is get to the bottom of what's going on really. The price of gold is rigged just like the price of silver. It's not as important as silver. And don't forget, who owns all the gold? The banksters, for the most part. Who owns all the silver? Who knows? Industrial, Warren Buffett, was JP Morgan. They've been taking a lot off the COMEX with their big lease deal with Bank of America. I'll get to that in a second. But so today they slammed the price down of silver. Down, they're trying to get to the, as we've talked about 10 billion times, the moving averages is the game they play. Their problem right now is every time they dump silver below the 100-day moving average, India is buying. And India doesn't buy in here's 5,000 or 5 million ounces that India bought this month. No, we're talking if they were to, for example, if they were to push the price below 200-day moving average, which is currently $27.39, we'd be talking about millions of ounces that India would load up on physical silver. The latest time that in August when they dumped it down close to the 200-day moving average, India loaded up on 46 or 47 million ounces in a month. So they are gunning for the 100-day moving average, which will lose them another 50 million ounces, maybe even more. And of course, if they hit the 200-day moving average, we're talking 150. This is, even India knows this is the end game for silver market manipulation. And who wins? At the end of the day, it's the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. Well, it's the silver rule now. He who has the silver gets to retire early. Everybody needs silver. We just recently had a Russian communique. Russia set to boost silver reserves and major precious metal strategy shift. You don't think Vladimir Putin knows exactly what's going on with the rigging of silver and the rigging of gold? He sent his number one financial advisor to a GATA conference in the early 2000s. Of course he knows. Everybody knows. The only guys who don't know are guys like Jeff Christian. They'll say, oh, no, there's no such thing as silver market rigging, even though JP Morgan got busted for it. But we don't pay him much mind at all. What we do care about is having physical silver in your own possession. Do you know how small the silver market is? This is the first time that I've heard of a leader of a nation saying, in a long time, saying that he's going to add silver to the list of reserves. Poof! In a normal market, that would send the price of silver from $30 to $300 to $600 to $3,000. That's how much money's available versus how much silver is available. So Russia shifts its precious metal strategy, adding silver to state reserves alongside gold, platinum, and palladium, potentially impacting global market. Potentially, I mean, you put like 0.0001% of the budget of the reserve budget of any country, and silver's going to blow through the roof. It's a tiny market. Maybe my guess right now, not counting ETFs. ETFs, nobody knows how much is in the ETFs. As Jeff Curry of Goldman Sachs says, they naked short the COMEX based on their ETF holdings. That's what the big banks do. Well, first of all, the ETFs are supposed to be held by the custodian, and the beneficial owner is the shareholder. When you buy a share of SLV, they're supposed to deposit an ounce. They aren't. They are lying, cheating, and stealing. They're doing it with derivatives, and that's the key. Where is the derivative market right now? Well, the banks are still in massive trouble. All you got to do is look at the Commitment of Traders report. As of last week, ended on last Tuesday. By the way, today is Tuesday of the week after. They slammed the big commercial shorts, slammed silver, and mainly it's really interesting these days because where are they getting the downturns? Is it because the managed money goes long when it goes up over the moving average? They get a little bit of that, but they don't have enough to close out their short positions. So they're having to close them out manually, meaning they got to either pay off the metal or pay off the amount they owe at the end of the month and get out of their position. That's what keeps bumping the price up further. The banksters and the criminal riggers would like nothing less than to have a force majeure on the COMEX. And I think that's coming in the next few weeks. Not months, weeks. You can have a force majeure for a large hurricane hitting Florida, and all of a sudden, all the warehouses have to shut down. I think they have a few more hurricanes in the hurricane machine headed our way. As we see one came up out of the blue, the hurricane that's now headed towards Florida and is intensifying. Well, if we know that they can intensify hurricanes through HARP, which we all should know, we should also know that they can de-intensify hurricanes. They can steer them in other ways, in other places. We've had that ability for decades, and it's not even a secret. But they aren't steering it in other ways. They're steering it at things they need to accomplish. For example, taking out the Appalachia. The most important silicon quartz mine and lithium mine in the world just happens to be shut down now. No way of getting that out, by the way, because all the rail crossings and the bridges and all that is shut down. So we could see the end, at least for a while, of manufacturing of silicon chips. Holy shit. I thought it was going to happen with the China invades Taiwan. This is another way for it to happen. Voila. What happens if we can't make any more iPhones and flat screen TVs for a while? Holy crap. Right? That's the kind of world we're headed into. Everything is going full speed right now. So interesting stuff. Obviously today's slam. Today is Tuesday, the last day of the trading week. So Friday we're going to get how the criminal banksters change their position. And it looks like a big one today, obviously. They're going to close out a lot of their shorts. Will they get all of them? No. They would rather have... I think they just want to shut down the COMEX now. They know they can't get out of their short position, because to get out of short position means somebody else has to take over that position. Or they deliver the metal. Which will it be? Jamie Dimon and Bank of America, especially HSBC. A little birdie told me HSBC is about to fold. So keep that in mind. And we do have a, quote, 3-day weekend coming up. This is the last 3-day weekend before the election. So as the FDIC said, we have to shut down banks on a 3-day weekend. And their plan is to control the situation. Shut down, say, 200-300 banks and control the situation. So a too big to fail bank doesn't happen. I would like to point out that Trump has been trolling Jamie Dimon. The Trump on True Social, Trump posted, or his people posted, Jamie Dimon has endorsed Donald Trump. Well, that's not true, and it's really interesting because J.P. Morgan came out. No. Jamie Dimon hasn't done that. What does that do? That gets Jamie Dimon's face in the middle of the discussion with Trump. And what would be the most important bank on the planet to collapse? The largest derivative holder, which is JP Morgan Chase. Massive derivative holder. And that's what will end this game. And you have to have everything out of the system when the game ends. So if it is this weekend that they pull the plug and we have banks collapsing and something happens before the election, mind you, I've been saying this for a long time, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan will be on the forefront of the mouths of everybody. I think 3 banks are looking at destruction right now. JP Morgan Chase, with their derivative position, I think it's 55 trillion. You have $3 trillion in assets, 55 trillion in side bets. Holy crap. And they are counterpart to so many other banks and banks and individuals and, Joe Schmo's derivative exchange in Taiwan. I mean, the Bank of China anybody can pull the plug right now. The U.S. will probably pull the plug. We're the largest debtor nation. When we pull the plug, poof, 70 trillion in debt goes away. All the assets, electronic assets go away too. But we can start fresh, arrest the bad guys, all this. I'll be talking about this with Dave, so look for that. Again, they're rigging Big Slam down today, but who cares, right? We're in this game to win. The only way to win is to get out of the game. Take your football and sit over on the sidelines and watch them play football with a derivative football. And that's what's happening right now. More things to come. Sorry about that. Burkina Faso plans to withdraw some mining permits. We're going to see a lot more of this. Mexico is going to withdraw all their silver permits and gold permits for mining companies. If you have a mining company, I'm sorry, you bought a derivative. Yes, a mining company, that's a derivative of the silver in the ground. It is so important to understand when the financial system fails, no country is going to allow foreigners owning any of their metal in the ground. Globalization will stop, trade will stop. We're already seeing the beginnings of that with the port closures and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, and I always watch, and if you've watched The Road to Rudy, you know what I've been talking about. This massive silver lease of over 1.2 billion ounces from JP Morgan. They get busted. They lease it all. They don't sell it. They lease it with a fixed back end to Bank of America. So they could book a $1 billion gain that year that they took a $920 million fine. That's the way the game works. Anyway, that lease is winding up, and that lease, it went from Bank of America to Warren Buffett for the most part. Was he working on behalf of the U.S. government? Probably. I know you're not hearing this anywhere else. Yes, I do believe Warren Buffett is involved in taking down the banking cabal. His final deal is going to be a silver deal. And if it's true that Warren Buffett was the back end through a structured deal through BofA, I said it when Buffett was buying all these BofA shares in the beginning. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why does Buffett want BofA so bad? It was one of the worst banks. It's through this structured lease deal, and now he's winding down. Warren Buffett's BofA dumpathon tops $10 billion, nears key 10% non-reporting level. If he hits 10%, he doesn't have to report, and they can dump it all. Destroying the financial system, returning the United States of America to, who knows, gold, silver standard, cryptos. How about returning the money to the people and don't even have government involved with the money system? Probably a better idea. So as far as things that could cause the end of the destruction of the COMEX, biggest solar flare since 2017 erupts. I believe we're being protected. I know we're being protected by technology that is greater than what we're told. I have seen certain things happen with my own eyes. For example, I've told the story many times of something big coming out of the sky. When I was at my dad's ranch, middle of the night, explodes, hits something, and then goes off this way. I had night vision goggles. I literally, after it exploded and the whole valley lit up, middle of the night, I'm like, what the hell was that? Pull out the night vision goggles. I see smoke coming in this way. It hits something. There's no smoke headed up that way. It's some kind of barrier. Hits something and bounces off that way in a perfect trajectory. Could have been, it wasn't like a ballistic missile. It didn't have, a massive smoke cloud. And this is gigantic. So we are being protected, which I love, which is great. Is it our own technology? Is it alien technology? I have no idea. I have no idea. But I think we're going to find out these things very soon. So I do think we're being protected. I do think the good guys are in full control, although there's a lot of bad shit that has to go down. I think Trump and the good, that side of that faction is saying we want the destruction of the system before we get in so we can clean it up. So that gives us, 3 weeks or so? Hang in there, my friends. China is getting very aggressive to Taiwan. I've been saying since Trump got in, he and Putin and President Xi got together and said, okay, Trump said, I'll be the bad guy first. Putin said, I'll be the bad guy second. And Xi of China said, I'll be the bad guy third. We're at the point where Xi is going to basically take over Taiwan. Hopefully it's not bad. The most important place in the world for computer manufacturing, Silicon Valley type chips. But then again, we have the closing down of the quartz mine. So truthfully, is so chaotic. I can't tell you how it's going to happen, but I can tell you how I am preparing for it. Number one, physical silver in your own possession. If you have gold, swap it 80 to 1. No, if you love gold, swap all your gold for silver today and then swap it back when that gold-silver ratio hits. You'll probably get nervous at 10 to 1 or 20 to 1. The minimum in my analysis is 1 to 1, which is what it is above ground. 7 to 1 if you're like looking at the mining ratio. But 80 to 1 is ridiculous. And you all know that, or should know it by now. So yeah, swap your gold for silver, and then you can swap back. I don't think you're going to want to swap back. Remember, over 100% of all silver this year will be consumed by the industrial side. Over 100%. So that means all the inventories are going to empty out between now and next year. I don't think it'll get that far. Solar panels, we're going to do 400 to 450, maybe even 500 million ounces just in solar. Now, you won't hear that from the Silver Institute or Metals Focus because they lie. They change their historical numbers and they lie and they cheat and they steal. But it is that big. And the rest, all the other electronic components that are needed outside of solar, electric cars, for example, another 120 million. You got your TVs and flat screens and all the military silver, all that. It's going to be over 800 million ounces just on industrial. What does that tell you? There's no silver left for investors other than what's above ground in these fake warehouses. So hang in there. Anyway, I got to run. I do think they're going to try to swap out Kamala, whatever you want to say her name. She's failing on every level. She can't even speak. Rumors are that Gavin Newsom, which is even worse, believe it or not. I mean, I got dirt. Everybody's got dirt on Gavin Newsom. But they're going to try to swap him out in the last second so voters don't have the time to do their homework. You can see a lot of Trump video ads of him dining at the the French Laundry in Yountville in the Napa wine country back when he was during COVID, forcing everybody to lock down and don't you dare go out, wear your mask. And he's sitting there in one of the ritziest restaurants in California without a mask, hanging out with his friends on his birthday. Just these people need to go down, and they are going down. They will go down. So watch for that swap in the next 3 weeks. It's going to have to happen fast, so the media is going to turn on Kamala. Once they turn on Kamala, it's over. So really interesting times on the road to Ruta. Again, I'm going to talk to Dave at X22 Report. Take a look for that. Lots to talk about this week. I'll be on the private road a lot this week, so go check that out. Our hearts go out to those in Florida. Jenny says she's safe, but hey, hunker down in Florida. They can speed it up or slow it down, intensify it. They're going to steer that hurricane wherever they need to go. So hang on tight. These are the end days for the banking cabal and the bad guys. Get your physical metal in your own hands. In your own hands. Get your cryptos in your own hands. No Coinbase accounts, no Kraken accounts or Gemini accounts. Now's not the time. If the banks go down, those are locked and frozen, just like we saw on Mt. Gox, right? I think they're finally paying out Mt. Gox. Don't know. I had one Bitcoin in there a long time ago. It had been whittled down so far that, everything is rigged. So that's the way you got to prepare for life. All right. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.